listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Good morning, this is the Frank Skinner Show. My name's Emily Dean and I'm standing in I'm not standing in Frank's chair, that would be extraordinary. I'm sitting. Yeah, I'm sitting in Frank's chair, which is always an honour. But, heavy is the head that wears the tiara, so go easy on me. I think I'm like the Bitcoin to his gold when I replace him. Do you think that's fair, Alan?
Getting more valuable every day.
Oh, I love you. You can stay.
Only used by freaks.
And weirdos on the internet. This morning I'm joined, you've heard them already, by the supersonic Alun Cochrane. Quite happy with that.
I'll tell you that.
And Spectacle Wearer of the Year, Gareth Richards.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. You weren't actually Spectacle Wearer of the Year. But you should have been. That was a travesty, a miscarriage of justice. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show if you're from 1993. But that's via the Absolute Radio website, of course. How are you, boys?
Smashing.
Very good, thank you.
I'm speaking for myself there, Gareth, sorry.
I like smashing.
Yeah.
I was really excited this week because I know he's not here, Big Daddy, but he was on the telly this week. He's always on the telly.
He's on the telly, yeah.
He is, isn't he?
Work with everyone.
But he was in a documentary about Muhammad Ali.
Oh.
And it was absolutely brilliant. And it was one of those things where I was a little bit nervous because I thought, what if it's not very good? But he was... No, but you just never know. But he was fantastic
With Frank,
on it.
it's always good.
Oh, well done. You like sitting in that little chair, don't you? Make yourself comfortable. No, he was really good in it. And I realised, because he knows about his subject and he's well-read and all that kind of stuff, you don't normally see documentaries being presented by people that kind of know stuff anymore. Because it's normally a Channel 5 reality person saying, I went to go and find out exactly what the truth was about cosmetic surgery.
Right, yeah.
And it wasn't that. It was someone really smart. So I loved it. I recommend that you watch it. It's called... Is it just called Muhammad Ali, Daisy?
It's on the iPlayer.
Frank Skinner on the iPlayer.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary the other day about a pawnbrokers.
Oh,
That's
God, my
really
heart was in
during
my
the day.
mouth for a moment.
Mine too.
Alan, I felt absolutely sick. Did you?
Yeah. Quite ill, yeah.
No, like a
Wow.
pawn shop.
We got out of
That's
there.
what it's on during the day now.
Okay.
Get it.
Just
Yeah.
lots of...
Oh, I'm sorry to break off from that anecdote, which I like the sound of. However, we've got some exciting news this morning.
Oh, yeah. Is it news just in?
Well,
Actually,
no, it's not just in. The bad news is we're still in this tiny studio with no aircon, where the microphones don't work. The good news is we've got... I'm not going to call it a sponsor. I'm going to call it Mummy's new friend.
Oh, okay. A sponsor.
Yes.
Is it
I'm
on
going
you,
to stick with a sponsor.
Well, it just sounds less fiscally motivated. Mummy's new friend is Hovis.
Oh.
That's our new friend of the show. They sponsor the show, don't they, Daisy?
Wow,
They're
that's
sponsoring
excellent.
us now. So, this is good news because bread is actually back in fashion.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. It's fashionable again. It's very naff to avoid the bread basket. So thanks, Hovis. Hovey, as I call you. I don't know if that's okay.
You've given it a term of endearment already. For bread.
Honey, if it's paying my bills, it's my friend.
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So I was talking about Frank's fabulous Muhammad Ali documentary, and one thing I noticed during it, because when a friend's in something, you watch it with a slightly different mindset.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, oh, he's wearing that jumper again. Oh, that looks nice. I'm glad he's chosen that jumper. And then I thought, oh, he's got that Mac on. That's interesting, because it's a bit of a cold New York winter. I don't think that's going to give him the protection he needs. But I also was so impressed, because during the documentary, they drive places in these documentaries.
Oh, yeah.
They show the talent behind the wheel. I like it. It makes me
Yeah.
feel like they're one of us. And Frank's, he's driving. I think he's in Kentucky. And, well, blow me down. He's driving on the other side of the road. Frank Skinner on the other side of the road, like a big old man. Like a Cochrane.
I don't get you.
Well, I just think driving on the other side of the road is really impressive when people do it. Is that unusual?
Oh, my God, wait till you get to Europe.
Okay, have you ever done it, Gareth?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I knew that. Don't take that the wrong way.
But I think it's probably self-policing that there's cars coming the other way.
Yeah.
So I think whilst you might be tempted initially to drive on your normal side, I think the cars hurtling at you at incredible speeds probably persuades you to keep on the right side.
But I suppose what I'm
it does seem like very tricky.
I just think someone like Frank is, because I consider him one of mine, which is, not that sporty, all that kind of stuff, late to swimming, late to driving. And then there he is, not a care in the world, like Jack Kerouac on the road.
Oh, yeah?
I was really impressed. So you strike me as very much other side of the road type.
I've done a little bit of foreign driving.
Now, what is it? Because it seems to me like either it's, oh, no, this is easy, or do you feel like you're going to freak out?
No, I think it's easy in long straight lines, and then you get to a roundabout and think that you're going to do it wrong on the exit. Like,
okay.
The moment you exit a roundabout, you think, have I just reverted to what I do at home? and as you say, there is always the healthy reminder of a vehicle coming at you.
Well, in fairness, Al, my first and only, and I say only, experience of it was on a hairpin bend in Montenegro where they filmed the James Bond movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't a good start for me. But no, I was really, hats off to him. And I noticed he's in really good company. Because did you see the Queen was driving this week?
Person also driving.
No, but what I'm saying is she's 91.
She is.
Yeah. Well, did you know that she doesn't have to have a driving licence?
Did know that.
The monarch doesn't have to have a driving licence.
You sounded like that child.
One of the perks.
You sounded like that child in Jerry Maguire. He says, did you know?
The headways,
To be fair, being Queen is a job that comes with loads of perks, and not needing a driving licence is pretty low down in it.
Yeah, but she did. She wore the hat in the car, which I liked. So
Crown,
she
I think you call it.
No, it was
I'm
a
only
hat.
kidding. I'm only kidding.
with fruit on it. So
What?
It was a bit like, that Dastardly and Muttley where he wears gloves and a hat on in the car. Yeah, she looked a bit strange, but I think I'd like to do that when I get to that age. I hope I'm still bombing around.
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't need a driving licence because if anyone needs to see some ID, she can just use cash.
Yeah. Do you think she's ever... I think she's got like a laminate machine and she's made her own driving licence just with a stamp where her face would be.
Yeah.
I like the idea of her having some lines for that. Like when people asked her for ID. Try this, pal. Getting out of 50.
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I've had a lovely week with my
that's
puppy Ray.
Oh, excellent. Have you been on a little break?
Well, no. I mean, it's a bit early for
I thought
that.
you meant you'd been on a holiday with the
we've been
dog.
spending a lot of quality time together.
QT, nice.
Yeah, which is really nice. And, there are
Just
two
call
things.
Emily a cutie.
No. So I like abbreviations.
Oh,
What's it
I
called?
like our relationship going in a slightly different direction.
Do you, QT?
I'm enjoying it. Enjoying this whole new phase. What's Frank going to say? Oh, he's going to be jealous. Oh. So, Ray is rather fabulous. I know you're a big fan.
I am, yeah.
Alan, we're getting there with you.
He's a tiny dog, isn't he? We should just explain to new listeners, readers, that Ray is Emily's tiny, cute dog.
He's a little Shih Tzu.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking that in a clean direction.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're having issues with his comfort breaks, if we can
Right.
put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, you've already put it in stronger terms just moments ago.
He's all over the shop, guys.
Oh, dear.
There's no easy way to say this. So I'm working at the moment in my friend Jonathan's office, and
Jonathan.
Ross,
Office.
yes,
Wow.
okay, and which is
That
lovely.
Jonathan.
It's a lovely office, but he's got a yellow carpet, which will come as no surprise to anyone who's familiar with him and his clothes. It's a bright yellow carpet. I think it might. I'm not sure what it was. There was a film Watchmen, and I think they had a red carpet that was yellow, and I don't know if he was inspired by that or
right,
maybe he got a
Waste
cheap
not, want
off
not.
cut. Yeah, I don't know, but it's all
Doesn't
bright
strike me
yellow.
as the guy to get a cheap off-cut and go, yeah, yellow will do.
It looks fabulous.
Sounds great.
Anyway.
Until the puppy arrives.
Exactly.
Although, for some things, that might be quite handy.
How's he enjoying his light brown carpet? recently light brown.
Exactly. For certain parts of the comfort break operation, it's
Perfect
fine.
colour.
Yeah.
For others, not so much so.
Yeah.
And I went into the office the other day. I was doing some work. I was writing, and then I
thought you were
left.
cleaning for him. You said, I've been working in my friend's office.
I am now.
Taking track.
I am cleaning now. That's part of the deal. And then I got a text from him later saying, I see you were in the office earlier. And it was a photograph of Ray's shame.
Ray's shame, very elegantly put.
He'd photographed Ray's shame. 2 shames he'd done.
Right.
And
You
he
didn't see those shames.
sent me the picture.
dear.
Well, that's my story. I wasn't going to pick that up, was I? Someone else can do that. So it's awkward. You know, you take him to a friend. He went to the bathroom in... Now that we've got a friend sponsoring us, I'm not going to mention
think
any brand
Ray's-
names, but he went to the bathroom in a bookstore, in a high street bookstore,
Oh.
and they were all crowding over him going, oh my God, he's adorable, he's so cute. And then he did let's call it shame number 1.
Okay.
He did a whoopsie on the floor. Like
He did a
Frank
whoopsie on the
Spencer.
floor. And the woman said, oh, I'll just go mop this up. She got a mop. She got 2 of those yellow hazard things. I mean, it was like there'd been a murder.
Somewhat overdoing it.
It really was.
Been spending a lot of time in the crime section of that bookshop, hasn't she?
Honestly, Al, it was like a kind of police procedural drama. There were There were these yellow things everywhere. She had a mop. People were crowding around. There was a 3-year-old in the vicinity.
Danger.
No, I might have made it look a bit like maybe the kid had done it. Is that so wrong?
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
You can text us, by the way, on 81215 if you have anything interesting to say, or just if you want to say hello, why not?
Not necessarily about dogs soiling yellow carpets.
No,
It could be anything.
because that's quite specialist interest, I appreciate.
True dat.
The other thing I'm discovering about dogs...
Can I just peg you back momentarily? Because
Sure.
you showed Daisy, the producer, a photograph of said accident, but didn't show us, which makes me think there's some kind
Oh,
of...
really?
Why?
Do you think it's a conspiracy theory?
What's your shame?
I just felt passing around photographs of Ray's shame
Yeah.
might not be a nice way to start the morning. I mean, I'm talking about it to a lot of people. I don't know
I mean,
how
it's a
many
tiny
listeners we've
dog.
got, but just so FYI, Hovis, it's a lot of listeners.
I think
Yeah.
you've misread the situation. We really wanted to see it.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to... I mean, I don't want to be vulgar and turn this show crass, but I wanted to know about the size, because surely he's such a tiny dog. Like, he can't be...
I mean, it's
Must be
smaller
like
than
a
the
rabbit.
dog. It's smaller than
I
the dog.
don't-
Yeah, exactly.
listen,
It has to be smaller than
I
him.
really don't want to get into details, but he packs a lot of punch.
Oh, my goodness.
The other thing I've noticed about him is that people... I've said this before, but it is like walking down the street with Justin Bieber. People stop you all the time to talk to him, but it's making people quite
And he's
crazed.
naked.
And he's naked and really unpleasant. So we walked down the street the other day, and people turn into crazed lunatics. This woman said, I was walking down, she was on the other side of the crossing, and she went, "Excuse me, can you stop, please? Stop there." I said, "Is everything okay?" She went, "I want to see that dog. Stay."
Wow.
So I thought, well, what do I
Stay?
do? Yeah.
Forthright.
Yeah, she said, "Can you? I need to see that dog." So I had to wait while the lights turned red, and then she crossed over, and then I thought, "This is really awkward. I don't know you."
While you had to wait, can I ask, was there a point where you thought, should I get my phone out? Is
Well, I
this going
just
to be long
thought-
enough for me to start checking emails, or just doing that thing that people do when they have to wait?
I know, and I thought, where does that line come where I'm being sort of kind and sort of sociable, and actually just being taken advantage of? So I stood there, and then she came over, and she really liked him. I mean, she was a big fan. She was picking him up.
Right.
But then it got too chaotic. Another dog, 5 children, a beagle was involved. It was like a Britney Spears video. I thought, I need to move on from this. I don't like it. So a bit further down the street, there's a man, bit of a silver fox, having a brunch with a woman.
Great.
And he's suddenly... Great.
I like the way he's living his life, just for the record.
He's having a great
Hashtag
life.
legend.
What was he wearing?
He was wearing...
Chinos? I think chinos, powdered blue shirt.
No, he had a
Couple
sort
of
of
buttons.
navy V-neck.
Okay.
And he
Just
he
that.
noticed Ray, and he said, "Hey there." He was American. I mean, to top it all off, he was American, for goodness sake. He said, "I love that dog." I said, oh, thank you. Woman gave me a filthy look.
Imagine.
He said, I've never seen a dog like that. Can I touch him? I said, of course you can. So I felt bad to the woman because she looked furious. So I said, hello. She'd ignored me.
Blanked you? Oh, dear.
So it seems to me, Emily, that on the one hand you don't like the attention, and on the other hand you're
When he's a
very
dapper
much
gentleman of a certain age.
enjoying the attention.
Well,
Yeah.
then the man said, he said, you just want to take him home with you, right? Well, that didn't go down very well with the woman, who was steaming by this stage.
Did you say, well, he is mine, I do that, yeah. I do take him home with me, that's where he lives. We share an address.
He was taking photos.
Was
But it's,
it?
yeah.
Of the dog, mainly?
Yeah, of the dog.
Right.
Well, I
Just
think they were of the dog.
1 in 10 of you. Just
I don't know what to do, though, because people keep stopping me. Do you think I should stop for them? I mean, is that what one does when you've got a dog?
Yeah.
Does the whippet get stopped often?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Oh,
And
I'm
if,
so pleased for you.
if people stop and stroke the dog, I just stroke them. As they stroke the dog, I start stroking their hair, and then that I find nips it in the bud pretty sharpish.
Do you then say, you just want to take them home, don't you?
Exactly. Seems they're not that keen on talking to me as much as the dog.
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, Gareth, as a guest on the show, I think I should go to you. What have you been up to?
Well, I've had a busy week. Laura, well, it's half term this week, but the week before, so my wife, I won't say her name, Laura, but
Strangest sentence anyone's ever uttered on
You'd already
radio.
said it. I wouldn't mind, but that horse had already bolted.
He said, Laura. I won't say her name, Laura. I mean, Al, this is extraordinary scenes here.
Scenes, hashtag scenes.
I probably already mentioned she's a teacher, and she was away on a residential with the kids, so she had to take them doing archery. It was Parents Get Lost,
Oh.
which...
What do you mean, they can't navigate?
Yeah,
They find it hard to
They
navigate.
tried to pick the children up, but they can't. It's a problem they have. It's a weird thing to name a whole... Anyway.
Oh, well, so it's called Parents Get Lost.
PGL, I think, yes. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Is that what that stands
people
for?
outside of your social strata. You probably got... When
Well, we go
when
to...
you got sent away, it was for good. But maybe other kids just get sent away for a week.
Oh, okay, I understand. No, I've heard of PGL. I didn't know that's what it meant.
Yeah,
That's an idiotic,
I didn't
unique moment
know
for me. Okay.
Yeah, so
As you were.
But what it meant is that I was at home with Ethan
Oh, yes.
to do revision.
Okay, so he's got A-levels now,
No,
isn't it?
no. Just he's quite young still. It's just a little exams. But
Oh,
he
I
had
thought you were
certain
one of those
things.
child bride ones. You were quite young, weren't you?
No, so Ethan, yeah, so I had to do the revision, which is Laura's usually in charge of everything, but she was away, so I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? It turns out now I'm an adult, I am much better at remembering things. And I have learnt things that when I was a kid, I was like, I'm never going to learn that. That won't go in. I'm not interested in that. And now it all goes in.
This week.
What
Yeah,
sort of
it's all
thing?
Yeah. So,
Well, imagine if we were in a live studio situation where we could test you on this knowledge and humiliate you, Al.
Is it pie?
how about, no, he wasn't doing food technology.
Terrible.
I liked it.
Sorry, can I just apologise, Frank? He would have loved that. A pun? A pie pun?
So how about this? Planets of the solar system.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you do them?
I've just recently been tested on this.
Oh, really?
Oh, there is a way
So
of
we might be
memorising them,
similar.
isn't there? How do you memorise
No,
them?
I just remember it.
There's 8 in
Third rock from the sun is Earth.
Right.
So, because of the TV show.
Okay.
And
Do you
then
wanna go through it?
Mercury is closest to the...
So we're
No,
going through all the planets
I have,
now.
Yes, of
It's only
course. It's
8,
the
isn't
planets of the solar system. That's how you do the...
Earth, Mercury.
No,
you've
so
done.
Mercury is the closest to the sun, and the way I have ways to remember things.
Right,
If
so
you
how
have
do you
ways-
remember it?
Is that Mercury
What
is
if
in
I just start
thermometers,
firing them out?
so
Will
that's
that
very
ruin it?
hot. So that's nearest the sun.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Mercury first.
Okay.
Mercury Venus. They're the two before the Earth.
I'm getting bored with the planets already. I don't mean to be rude, but I don't want to hear them all.
Basically, well, there's only 8, so it's just Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
Oh, I was really hoping that you'd get more of a laugh with Uranus, but you didn't bother. we just skirted straight over.
I tell you
that.
what, Ethan is 7, and
He enjoys
Uranus is
Is he even he's over it?
But how about this one is good? Wives of Henry VIII.
Oh,
Can you
yes.
do that?
All right.
Yes, but there's a way of doing it as well, isn't there? So Catherine of Aragon, Anne
Very
Boleyn.
good. Yeah.
Anne of Cleves is 4th. Oh, I don't like this. I'm being tested. No, wait. Catherine Howard and Parr. That's what I get confused about.
Yeah, well, this is the way to do it.
Okay.
Kajak. Kajak.
I love Kajak.
Kajacc.
Okay.
So
Jane Seymour.
Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah.
Anne Boleyn. Jane Seymour.
Okay.
Anne of Cleves.
This is fabulous. We're going to have to go for a break.
Okay.
But we're talking about Catherine
And
of
then I'll
Aragon this
explain
morning
the
on
rest.
live on commercial radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Gareth, you were talking about sort of memory, really, and ways of remembering things.
Well, we've already had some texts in. 404 has said, very easy method just speeds up naming planets.
What's that?
Oh, no, my very easy method just speeds up naming planets.
Oh, and that's all the planets.
Mercury, yes. Mercury,
will
my,
never
yes,
forget
my
that.
very easy method just speeds up naming planets, although Pluto is no longer one of
That's
them.
true,
so
yeah.
Oh, just
My
speeds up
very easy
naming.
method just speeds
Got
up naming.
downgraded, didn't it? You've got to feel sorry for Pluto. All those years that it was a planet, and then suddenly they went, no, you're too small. Like, that's what they said.
I mean,
Well, that's
that
what you
is-
said to my dog.
To be qualified as a dog.
If you're already insecure about your size, I mean, that has got to be a real kicker.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I felt sorry for Pluto. He was always the poor relation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm acting like it's the Disney character Pluto, but you know what I mean. That I love things like that. I like ways of remembering things.
It was.
Yes, aid memoirs.
Yeah.
We should say, people should text in if you've got any sort of strange things you've memorised or just weird things from school that you kind of store away as well.
So for the wives of Henry VIII,
Oh, yeah.
Kajak,
Yeah.
and then everything is in alphabetical order. So there's 3 Catherines, and it goes Catherine of Aragon, Catherine Howard, Catherine
Yes.
Parr. So
Yeah.
so all the second bits are in alphabetical order.
Okay.
And also with the Anne, so Anne Boleyn and then Anne of Cleves.
It's gone more complicated than it was a minute ago, this.
I know, but you have to remember because there's lots of them are the same.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
all
I
in
remember in
alphabetical order.
RE, which we used to call it in my day. I don't know what they call it
RE.
now. What's it called now? Religious education. It was
Well,
RE in my day.
political correctness nowadays, you're probably not even allowed.
I think they probably call it stuff or
RS.
something. We had 4 Gospels. It was Matthew, Mark, Luke and John went to bed with their trousers on.
I mean, that is so disrespectful.
I just thought that was some of my parents' friends that had too much red wine. Quite honestly, most of my parents' friends went to bed with their trousers on every night.
Matthew, Mark,
There
Luke.
you go, breaking news.
It's Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. Acts and Romans follows on.
No, we learnt the
Is it?
trousers
There's no
on.
need to bring filth into it.
We learnt the trousers
No one
on
wore
thing.
trousers in those days.
I was from a theatrical family. We had to
Yeah, yeah.
spice things up. That's how we remembered things.
They were probably bright red chinos as well, weren't they? Like,
No, they were
way
more
that
sort
posh
of
people only have.
they were very thick cord, I find.
Nice.
So we also had for piano, I had Every Good Boy Deserves Favour, which again I find rather troubling. I don't know, there's something a bit sinister about that. I don't want to
That is
dispense
the
favours
that
to
is
every...
the patriarchy speaking.
Yeah. And favours
What
a bit
about
strange.
girls?
Exactly. And I don't want to cash cheques I can't honour. Sorry. So, yeah. So those are my little ones. And then I would remember... we also used to have weird things as well, because we used to be taught businessmen go to work by bus. That's how you would work how to spell businessman. Oh, the producer
Businessman
gasped with
go.
excitement.
Work by bus.
Business, so that you don't put the I in the wrong place. Do you understand?
No. Are you going to
Bus.
need pen and paper to
'Cause
teach
it's-
me?
Okay,
'cause
so you
starts
spell it
But
BUS.
that's only the first 3 letters.
Yeah, but it makes you not put the I in the wrong place.
Okay.
So businessmen go to work by bus. Do you understand?
I don't see where the pitfall is with spelling businessman. It's really easy. Like,
Well, Well, that seems a strange approach to take because maybe it's not easy for everyone.
So, 225.
Can I just say,
yes,
none of the
go on.
businessmen where I grew up went to work by bus.
Yeah, good point. Good
I
point.
mean, in my school, which was a very privileged school, we had a yellow mini metro, may I point out. We weren't privileged. We were arts and crafts bohos. However, when they said in that class businessmen went to work by bus, those children looked baffled. I mean, they don't know what a bus is,
yeah.
those children. What were you going to say, Gareth?
225 has texted in saying, have I stumbled across BBC Bite Size?
I love that.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. I'm not Frank, I'm Emily. Deal with it. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show at Frank on the Radio. Follow the show on Twitter specifically. Or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I'm with Gareth Richards.
Hello.
I'm with Alun Cochrane.
Hello.
I'm happy. Don't know about you. Have we heard from the outside world this morning?
We have, but before we do that, can I just say, when you said, I'm Emily, deal with it, for a split second I thought you were going to say I'm Emily Dean, and then I realised deal with it is a great surname. You should really
Shall I
run
change
with
my name?
Emily, deal with it is...
I was about to say by deed poll, and then I realised, does anyone ever use deed poll?
Yeah,
Is
I think
that
that
one
still
of those?
happens. No, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah,
When was the last? Can you text in if you work with deed polls
that would be good.
and you've had any involvement with them? Because it's a phrase people still use. It's a bit like legal tender. It's only
It is.
used with regards to net changing your name.
That's true, yeah.
Can you do
What
anything
could
else
it
with
be?
deed poll?
Yeah.
I am divorcing you by deed poll.
If anyone's got a deed poll, get in touch.
8, 12,
Bill
13.
Deeds
how you
maybe
use
has
it.
a poll. I mean, it's getting a bit surreal now, but I am interested in deed polls. So if you want to, talk to me about them, please do.
You did ask if we'd heard from the outside world,
Yeah.
and indeed we have. Gareth has kickstarted...
Indeed poll.
Indeed poll, indeed. Gareth has kickstarted a veritable tidal wave of text with people telling us how they remember things.
Wow.
How to spell
The power.
necessary, never eat cakes, eat salad sandwiches and remain young.
Oh. Do you think that was
Never-
Frank Skinner's advice?
I think it might have been our new sponsor, Hovis.
Salad sandwiches. Do you know what? Can you get me a salad sandwich?
That does sound nice actually now, doesn't it?
I'm actually going to eat that today at our
No.
brunch. Why not? I love a
That's
salad
interesting, isn't it?
sandwich.
So somehow how to just spell one word.
Yeah.
Hang
you
on,
have
I've
to
forgotten
remember.
necessary already. Never eat cakes, just eat salad sandwiches.
No, don't put a J in there. There's no J in necessary. Never eat cakes, eat salad sandwiches
Okay, this is my problem. I always add in too many words, so they aren't going to work for me anymore.
and remain young. Well, we were discussing what religious education, RE, is
Oh,
called
yeah.
in schools now, and I'm not even certain if this is a joke or a truth or what. Someone's texted, religious education is now called philosophy and ethics.
Oh, it makes, and then it's more like you're more intelligent. I like that.
Maybe.
Because that's brilliant to be studying that at a young age. That's really impressive. My 3-year-old's just doing a bit of philosophy and ethics. What's he doing this week? Loaves and fishes? I mean, it's not really
Stop
philosophy.
stealing stuff. Don't lie. That's what you have to start with, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suddenly realised with my kids, I don't think I'm hammering home the don't lie thing enough because,
Why not?
well, I
Do
just
they
think they
lie?
lie all the time.
Oh
No,
no!
but I think we find it adorable.
I think
Like when Elijah's like, I am Batman. And we're like,
that's
well,
a fairly harmless lie, isn't it?
I know, but I think it bleeds over into...
If it's more like, who's ripped up these £20 notes that were on the shelf? No one. If it's like that, then you
Yeah.
have to go.
I know.
Apparently, the thing to do is not tell them off for lying. To say it's always better to tell me the truth, because if you tell them off for lying repeatedly, they become really good at it.
Ah.
So it's
Well,
you're
I
training
think that's really good advice. Could you maybe talk to Donald Trump about that?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Alan.
Partridge. You mentioned the Donald mere moments ago.
Well, I did.
The Donald at Trump.
Hey, Trump or Stiltskin, as Frank calls him. We need a jingle for him. What about
I'm not sure.
Well, she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner.
Just because I think it would really upset him having his jingle, She's a Lady.
Well, he's been in the news again this week.
Yes, he's never out of the news.
I'm going for what we call Understatement of the Week section. Not only has he pulled out of that climate thing, but before that he was already in the news, wasn't he? With his tweet that mentioned constant negative press covfefe.
Covfefe. You say covfefe.
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 I say Gaddafi.
Covfefe.
I feel like the E is silent.
Well, but this is interesting. Text in if you have a view on this, because there have been multiple pronunciations. And
pronunciation.
Yeah, you're right.
Indeed.
As I said that, I knew I'd got it wrong.
Which is an ironic word to mispronounce.
Oh, leave me alone. You try sitting in this chair.
Okay. Please.
Next link.
Oh.
So I'm a covfefe girl. Gareth?
Yeah,
I've heard that about you.
Covfefe. I think covfefe.
Oh, you're
'cause
making
I
it a
like
bit French,
being-
Parisian cafe style.
I'm putting an accent
Covfefe.
on, I think.
Alan?
I just thought it was covfefe. But
You've gone more Yorkshire, and I like that in you.
Well, that's me.
Anyway,
Especially this week.
he tweeted this, didn't he? He later deleted it, but it led to a lot of speculation worldwide, intense speculation as to what he possibly could have meant.
Yeah, on the internet.
Yeah, and I think, of course, he'd been at the creme de menthe. I don't know.
Doesn't drink.
Oh no, he doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
that's how bad it is.
Well, nothing. He's probably
he's that
really
unpredictable without drinking. That's what you have to think about Donald Trump. Like, just
He's
imagine with a few
drunk on
Jaeger
life.
bombs in him.
People had a lot of fun with it, though. But what I enjoyed enormously was how he dealt with it in the aftermath. You were talking about children lying earlier, Gareth, and he dealt with it in the manner of how I imagine Ethan or Elijah would deal with it. He pretended he'd meant to do it. He
Yeah.
didn't say, I fell asleep on my phone and I can't really be trusted in this office. He said, what did he say? He said, enjoy. Who can figure out the true meaning of covfefe? Enjoy. Like it was the specials.
It's great. He's styled it out, hasn't he? That's what he's done.
Yes, but it reminded me of when I was younger. You know when you'd kind of make up a word? I used to do this a lot when I was younger. Or I'd mispronounce a word. I'd use it like pronunciation, I'd say. I'd use it incorrectly. And I remember very vividly one incident where I said, I think I was talking to my father, and I said, yeah, well, that's a religious thing, like a Buddha. And my father said, no, that's a Buddha. I said, no, Buddha's a different religious thing. And he said, no, you mean Buddha. I said, no, I don't. I mean, Buddha is a different religion to Buddha. And I stuck with this for about 7 years.
Good for you.
I was so stubborn and proud. And that just felt very Trump-like,
Good for you.
I felt.
I think you've got the potential to become leader of the free world with that one anecdote.
Well, fingers crossed, everyone.
And well, this is very apt as well, isn't
Yeah,
it? This,
absolutely.
Sean Spicer said, the president and a small group of people know exactly what he meant. Suggesting some sort of conspiracy theory that it was, some sort of activation code or something.
What I enjoyed about that is at the press conference when he said that, you heard a journalist's lone voice going, really? What is a covfefe?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're talking
Enjoyed
about Trumpelstiltskin on Absolute Radio this morning.
Well, we've had a text from 880 that chimes very much with my theory, but they've also written it in a sort of I would say, a dictionary-type pastiche. You know, like N in brackets for noun.
Yes.
So it's got
I like
N
that.
in brackets, covfefe, I think it...
No, covfefe.
Yeah, they've written covfefe.
I mean,
but
I'm
that's
saying
fine.
no covfefe like it's an actual
Yeah.
word. It can
And
be whatever
also,
you want it to be.
You know, his or her spell check may well have not experienced the word covfefe before.
Happens to the best of us.
When you want to say coverage, but your hands are too small to hit all the letters on your keyboard.
Oh, ouchie.
Marvellous. You know, Donald Trump has famously taken it badly that somebody said that he had small hands.
I believe so.
And,
I believe he was called a short-fingered vulgarian.
but I also...
By
some of my
Graydon
best
Carter,
friends-
the
some of
editor
my
of Vanity
best
Fair.
friends are short-fingered Bulgarians.
Some of
I
your
love
best
that.
stand-in hosts.
I love the episode of Star Trek where they get attacked by the small short finger Bulgarians.
I agree with the 880, by the way. I think he was
Do
trying
you?
to write coverage. I don't think there's anything
Interesting.
much more than that.
I know, but
He might have fallen
Thank
asleep on the...
the
Presumably
Lord
he's
he
got a phone
didn't.
with big buttons and he just fell asleep on it.
Do you think he has got one of those big button phones? I think he has.
It's so good when people get things wrong, though. Nothing is the funniest thing.
Well,
Someone
it's the
publicly
sweet
gets
spot
something
between
wrong.
getting it wrong and then absolutely refusing to deny it,
Yeah.
Budder style.
I mean, I think we'd all rather that he misspelled coverage than got the nuclear codes wrong.
Yeah.
All right, actually, let's go with that.
Well, you know what? It's going to happen. That it will happen. So we just have to enjoy our time on Earth while we can.
Yeah, good point.
You know, sit down, get the newspapers and make yourself a covfefe. I'm drinking a covfefe as we speak.
Hillary Clinton did a gag. She zinged him on the old internet. She said people in covfefe houses shouldn't throw a covfefe. But it reminded me too much of glass houses. So I was going, people in glass houses shouldn't throw a glass. And it took me ages to realise what she was talking about. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's a little
She
bit...
thought it was. She also said it was a hidden message to the Russians, which I
Yeah.
liked.
Well, I'll tell you what I didn't like was I read an article about it and it said Hillary Clinton's hilarious joke. And I was like,
As a comic, do you object to that?
hilarious joke. I mean, really. I mean, I hope that journalist also does comedy criticism and is going to the Edinburgh Festival because I'm definitely going to have an hour that is stronger than
It's going to be.
people in covfefe houses shouldn't throw a covfefe.
I mean, if it's possible to get 10 stars, Al,
Yeah.
I think you're dead cert for one.
I mean, that's like a 3-star joke, but the review's like a 5, isn't it? Ridiculous.
It's the dream.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, yeah, we're talking about covfefe, obviously. I mean, we couldn't not talk about it this morning.
Yes, he was talking about Hillary. I find this weird that he said that Hillary, she won't admit that she was a terrible candidate. And he only just won.
Yeah.
Surely you want to big up the person you were only just won against rather than saying they were terrible.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of
It's
that.
confusing. The most embarrassing
It's
thing...
almost like there's no rational train of thought.
Almost like he doesn't know what he's talking about anything.
I tell you what I thought as well. No good ever came from tweeting after 11 p.m. at night.
Yeah, what's he doing up at that time?
I mean, I've got friends in my life.
Twitter.
Daisy, who's my ride or die on the show, my producer. My producer, that sounded a bit grand.
It sounded a bit Ronnie Corbett, if you don't mind me saying. Mad producer.
Mad producer. No, my dear friend, who also happens to be the producer of our show. But I like to think
Get a room.
she would say to me, and don't do that.
Yeah,
I think she'd make me take it down.
it's good advice.
Don't tweet after 11 p.m. 11 p.m. is for drunks, trolls. I love that,
think
tramps and
narcissists.
thieves.
I
Yeah,
You could say
And-
that about Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
But I think
hate the player, hate the game.
post 11 p.m. is very slide into the DMs as well.
Oh, is it?
I think so. I think that's when men start sliding into the DMs.
I never get any DMs.
I think
If
meant
you
to
would
be
like to
sending them.
DM me, slide into my DMs at Gareth Richards.
I think you're meant to be sending them rather.
Oh, am I supposed
You have
to do
to
the
send them,
sliding?
yeah.
If you want to become a sleazebag, which you're not.
You just have to say something like, "Hey, you're hot."
I am hot actually, but that's just the aircon in this
I
room.
know. Can you sort out the aircon, please?
The most embarrassing thing I think I ever did on Twitter, apart from some of the jokes I've posted, is I typed in. The tweet was Gareth Richards.
What, you tweeted Gareth
I
Richards?
tweeted.
Were you searching for yourself?
Yes,
Yeah,
I was.
Okay, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
It's a bold move. I'm assuming that you've unpicked the habit of searching for yourself over the years, or do you still do that?
Yeah, no, I
So it just
don't
said
do
Gareth
that anymore.
Richards.
Yeah, so I just tweeted
But it's
Gareth Richards.
That is quite terrible, and I really, my thoughts and prayers are with you at this time.
Yeah.
However, what about with that ex-boyfriend of mine? when I was on Facebook, and this was many years ago, and he had a new girlfriend, and I wanted to see what the girlfriend looked like. I'm not going to lie, I wanted to get a close-up of her legs. I wanted to see if she had a nice pair of legs.
Right.
I was a bit jealous because she looked stunning. And
I'm often angry on Facebook when people don't show you the exact part of the body that you want to see. I think we should have very clear pictures of everyone.
But I just wanted to get a proper look
Yes.
at her. So, in my attempts to expand the photograph, there was a photograph of the both of them at Universal Studios with, I think, standing next to Homer Simpson was in between them. And in my attempts to expand the photograph, I tagged myself as Homer Simpson. So he would have seen that photograph with him, his girlfriend, and then me, Homer Simpson, in the middle.
Don't!
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
So, Emily,
Yeah.
if I was to ask you what
Sorry, I did a
football
really heavy
team-
sigh there. And
That's fine.
yeah.
I'm very used to that when people hear me speak to them. Hello. It's him again. If I was to ask you what football team I support, have you any clue as to what football team I
Can I
support?
guess?
Yeah. I mean, I think you may well know it. But
Huddersfield Town.
yeah, excellent.
I'm so proud of that. I'm going to cry.
However, I will immediately add, in case there's like a tidal wave of text saying, oh, you're a rubbish supporter. I'm a rubbish supporter of Huddersfield Town. I can't remember the last time I went to watch them. However, I have been rewarded for my terrible fanship
Yeah.
with the team being promoted to the Premier League
Oh, wow.
I heard your news.
in a very exciting Premier penalty shootout,
Yeah.
which is awful. Like, I had to watch it through my fingers, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that exciting? Like, you pay almost no attention to a club and then they blossom without you.
But now people are going to say that you're an Arab East.
I was getting text messages saying well done, text messages from people that support Premier League clubs saying you'll have to come to the match with me next year, and me saying definitely, that sounds great. And it's going to be way easier. Like,
But
next
don't you
year,
think when they say well done, I think that's a bit sad,
oh
isn't
no,
it?
I like it.
Oh, do you?
I mean, Frank Skinner said you'll have to come to a match with me. I'm definitely doing that. I'm
Did he
definitely
say
going.
that?
Yeah,
Hang
it's
on, have you and
great.
Frank been doing all little cosy football texts?
Yeah, we've had texts. It's
I didn't know
really
this was
nice.
going on.
It's really nice. However, I watched
No,
it
because it's
in,
what men use, like, instead of talking about their feelings.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You see, I text him and I say, oh, I'm so proud of you. Your documentary was extraordinary, my lovely, wonderful friend. And he says to Alan,
one
come
word.
the football, mate.
He texted me saying, I love a penalty shootout.
It's like he's two people. I don't know what's going on.
But I watched it in the house, and my children were around. My son has displayed almost zero interest in Huddersfield Town when they were just sort of an esoteric idea.
Oh,
but
does
then
he
when
like
they were
them
on
now?
the telly, and I said, this means that next year they'll be playing Manchester United and Manchester City and Liverpool, and suddenly, halfway through the game, he was like, he started saying, I hope we win. Like,
Oh, I know
like
that.
that sort of stuff.
Do you know what I call that? Post-2000 Arsenal fan. We know them. I see them.
Totally. I mean,
Where were you in the dark days of George Graham?
can we just put some tempering on the glory? Like, when people say, oh, you're a glory supporter, we're still going to be last on Match of the Day every night, every Saturday next year. But that's fine. That's better than
Yeah.
having to dig it out on Channel 5 or whatever it is. It's great. But my daughter did
Yeah.
a thing where the fans tend to sing Huddersfield I'm going to have a go at singing it in the sort of scanning way that they do it. They kind of go, Huddersfield, Huddersfield. It's not a complicated song, but that's how it scans on
Some
the
might
terraces.
say rather depressing.
On the terraces of Yorkshire, that is how it scans, particularly Huddersfield. My daughter completely ignored that.
What does she sing?
I'm trying to get the tune again in my head, but it was something like Huddersfield, Huddersfield. I mean, she put a lot of E's, a lot of double E's, and I was thinking, that's much more jolly. Why aren't they doing that?
Do you know what I'm calling that? I'm calling that remix to Ignition. And I like it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Can I just say I love that we're discussing football this morning on Absolute Radio while
Frank's
Big Daddy's away. I mean, it's like a big fashion discussion while I'm not here.
I mean, it's a big relief to me that I actually got to watch the match on the telly, because obviously we didn't know that Huddersfield were going to get to the playoff finals, and then the game would be on the Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
And in my diary for months, I've had penciled camping. Just wrote, my wife had wrote, we're going camping.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Well, you say that. It turned out to be quite the scoop, because once Huddersfield were playing, I was thinking, well, wherever we're going camping, I hope there's a sports bar, because we'll have to get there, get the tent up, and I'll have to be in watching the football at 3. I mean, some would argue I could have gone to Wembley to watch it.
Could have.
But I didn't.
So you're really taking it back to nature, looking for a campsite with a sports bar.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, let's face it, there's nothing nicer than a sports bar. You just sit there, quietly contemplate the world and, you know, your fellow man in the sports bar.
I don't know.
Even better than that, I got back last weekend and my wife was like, I'm not sure we should go camping. I think the weather's going to be terrible. And I went, that sounds great. Let's not go camping. And then we mooted the idea of getting like a holiday cottage to save on the...
Do you know, I love it when Mrs.
tent up and
Cochrane
down.
moots.
We mooted the idea of putting the money into like a little holiday cottage. And then I said, well, why don't we not do that? But spend the money on a literal staycation. We'll stay in our house.
Stay in the home, yeah.
But we'll do
A lot of
things.
takeaways.
We'll do all the things that we couldn't do if we were away.
So
Like
hang
all
on,
the things.
did you have sun loungers erected in the living room with cocktails?
No, we did have a day at the seaside on Wednesday. On Monday morning, we all went.
We're leaving the taps on.
Monday morning, we went as a
Bag of
family
sand.
to the snow place. There's a ski.
Open the freezer.
What are you talking about?
Well, you're
he's-
staying at home, but doing
I
all
see.
sorts
You're
of things.
recreating it. So the skiing part
We
of
went
it is opening the
skiing.
freezer.
No, we
Yeah.
went actually.
Oh, you went
it
to
wasn't really
skiing.
skiing. We were playing on the like slides and big rings and stuff
Also,
like
can
that.
I say, does your wife look at the weather? Because it was a heat wave this week, was it not?
Well, it wasn't actually.
Down
was
the
it not?
beach, Gar, turn the oven up to...
Can I just say we absolutely nailed it on the weather front.
Ah.
The day that it was pouring down with rain, we went swimming to a particular swimming pool that has a wave machine.
Went in the bath.
Really good fun. And the Wednesday was a beautiful sunny day and we went to the seaside. But, you know, when you go to the seaside and then you've got to go back to your campsite, didn't have that. We just went, let's go home to our...
House.
Well, exactly.
If I may be vulgar, our lovely big house.
And what do you do for the seaside? Put
is
some,
disgusting.
sprinkle some salt on
Yeah,
the,
yeah, we did all of
in the
that.
front room. But I like that. But I want to
Fish
talk
and
to you more
chips at
about this
seaside.
sports bar as well.
Sports bar.
It sounds too much like sports bra, which is why I don't like it. But B, or two, as I sometimes like to say after A,
It never happened.
why? But sports bra. I mean, why does sports bar? What is a sports bar? What makes it a sports bar other than a bar just with a telly on? What-
That is it.
Is that what it is?
You've nailed
yeah,
it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that was a rather disappointing denouement.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show, by the way. BTW. Frank's not here this morning. I'm Emily Dean. We're being a bit naughty. I'm like the supply teacher. We've let off 3 stink bombs already. You can text the show on
Sorry about
81215. That was Gareth.
Should have gone in the adverts.
You can follow the show on Twitter, lovely, at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I'm with the Cochrane. I'm with Gareth.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo. Nice.
Okay.
So,
American Student Radio. Yo, yo, yo.
I've been reading about Gordon Ramsay's tips for eating in a restaurant.
Oh, Gordana Ramsay.
Yeah.
Is he a friend of the show? Almost. Because I like Gordana Ramsay.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, what I like about him is that I think he's democratic in his rudeness.
Right.
He's not one of those people that's just rude to the porter. He's rude to everyone.
Yeah.
And I like that about him.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes when he goes into a hotel or something and starts giving advice and then absolutely loses his mind with rage, I think, is this a guy to be taking advice from? He seems to have major problems.
Yeah.
But yes, he's a very successful man. Does that make you good?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it makes you, you know...
Good at whatever it is, yeah.
It means you're going to pick up the tab at the end of the evening, which is handy. But he,
Yes,
he's been talking about his guide to eating out in restaurants, hasn't he?
Yes, he's got some tips.
He's got some tips. What are his tips?
One is, if you're going out for a romantic meal with someone, order a table for 3. book a table for 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's that kind of guy, is he?
He actually
I've dated them.
He actually said book a table for a minimum of 3.
Wow.
But he doesn't then say, tell them, like, when you get there that one of them's cancelled. There was no explanation about that.
No.
Just, you know, the maitre d' is suddenly thinking, well, hang
Well,
on.
won't people be angry?
You
if
guys are
book
really
too
bad at
many?
math.
Well, also, I just think it's a bit depressing. It's like the sort of ghost of the person that never turned up. Also, if a guy booked a table for 3, I'd be a bit suspicious that a friend was going to turn up.
Brought along a chaperone.
Yes, it's like
I'd get the impression I wasn't enough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a little bit crowded for a date. 3 people.
yes, he says so you can spread out. What he needs to
I think
do.
he is probably the kind of guy that
On your
sits
dates,
with his
giant
legs really
haystacks.
wide. You know, like those man-spreading
Yeah.
I
type.
think
He's a
probably
man-spreader.
his wife likes to be far away from him. In case he
Can we have a
starts
trestle
screaming
table
at
for
people
14?
and
Put Gordon
swearing
at the other end of it.
Well, actually, they do bring you in very posh restaurants. They bring you little stools for your bag now. Do you remember when we went out to dinner
Oh,
out
yeah.
and they brought me a stool?
Yeah.
I'm making it sound like it was a hot date. It was a...
You'd brought the dog with you, hadn't you? That was part of the problem.
But they bring you a chair that's nicer than anyone else's chair, which is a special sort of...
extra. You
Yeah.
like
A bag chair.
A special chair.
That's lovely. But he also... Gordana also was talking about specials, wasn't he?
He did. Don't have them.
Don't ever have the specials, he said.
Yes, well, he said that there shouldn't be too many specials. They should be special. If there's
Yeah.
10
point, though.
specials,
That's
they're
what he
not
said.
special. And
I'm
they're
glad
supposed to
no
run
one's
out.
made a ghost town joke or...
Not a single one.
I was so close. I held it in.
Do you know what? I'm glad that we didn't. I think Frank would be proud of us.
Yeah, he didn't mention the specials.
He's on that sun lounger with a cocktail. He's not on a sun lounger, and he certainly hasn't got a cocktail. I'm getting out of this mess right now.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the specials, Gordana Ramsay says that you shouldn't order specials. And the reason for this is that it's just stuff they want to get rid of, I presume,
Yeah.
is it?
Right.
Is that right?
though.
Well, I'm not fine with it.
I'll have the rancid chicken breast, please.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm not fine with it because I hate... I think it might be one of the worst moments of my life is when they sit there telling you the specials
Oh,
and you
right.
sit there thinking, do I maintain eye contact with you? Or
Oh,
where do
yeah.
I look? And they say, it will be a tripe and chive pastry.
Tripe and chive. You don't fancy that.
And it sounds disgusting. And
does,
I go,
yeah.
and this
Sounds
is what
awful.
I do when they... Lovely work, Alan.
Thanks.
I say when they read this, during this, what I'm calling the specials recitation, I say, and then it goes on.
Oh,
It feels
really
like
does
20
go
minutes
on.
of your life.
It does go on. and
What
on.
do you do during the specials?
I just tune out. Probably think about Huddersfield. Something like that.
I nod a lot.
He had a lot of good advice. One of them that I found a bit challenging was that he reckons you should say to the maitre d' that you want a bottle of something special for about $30.
Alan, sommelier.
Sommelier.
He
Yeah,
suggests
the
with
sommelier.
sommelier. You really let yourself down.
Now,
Yeah.
I've not
Sommelier.
had that many fine dining experiences, but I do know this, that sommelier is the easiest job in the whole world. You show them
Yes.
the wine list.
Why?
Whatever they choose, you go, excellent choice, madame. And they go, oh, great, I nailed the wine choice. I mean,
Well,
it's so easy. that.
According to Gordana, though, you shouldn't ever go for the second cheapest bottle
Oh, really?
because they are onto us. So restaurateurs
Right.
know that's what everyone does. So that's
Yeah.
where they do big markups on that wine.
If you remove the word second, that's the one I would go for. If you just go for the cheapest.
Yes, well, he
bottle.
says to
I
give.
mean,
He says to give a price. I want a glass of wine for under £2, please.
weirdly, because I had read
If
this
someone went
article
for the
during the
cheapest
week.
wine, that would be it.
I read this article during the week, and I tried this with lemonade when I ate out yesterday. Didn't work. They said, "Oh, it's £2.50 for a can of posh lemonade," and I went, "I'll give you £1 for it." And they said,
Yeah.
"Get out of this restaurant, Mr. Cochrane." They
My,
knew me.
my
They were aware
tip
of my
for
work.
drinks in a restaurant is always go bottomless.
Pardon?
Always
that mean?
bottomless.
Have you already seen my jeans? I think they're a pretty cool look, but people aren't so sure.
I just think, though, to be honest, I don't know. I mean, some of his advice, I think the specials thing is absolutely right. I don't think you should order the specials. I don't agree with this table for three business. I think that's,
No, that's
unpleasant.
insane.
Well, it's deeply unpleasant.
Well,
I don't
doesn't the
like
whole
it.
system will fall apart if you
Yeah.
always order a table for more people, book a table for more people than you need.
But I do think get someone to order a table on your behalf is a good thing to do.
nice.
So if you
Yeah.
want to get a table in a posh restaurant, and maybe we want to go to the Ivy, so for example, Gareth, just get me to ring for you.
Right.
It doesn't matter that you're nobody, because I can ring and say, I'm not saying you are nobody.
I beg your pardon.
I can say, hello, I'm ringing on behalf of Gareth Richards. He'd like a table at 1:30 p.m. Thank you. Just very confidently,
Brilliant.
and it will work.
Will it really? Let us know how that works.
I mean, I've never tried it with Gareth, but maybe we should do that live on air.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We've already had a
Yes.
text in. You challenged the readers to book a table using...
Oh, please don't tell me they've done it.
Yeah, Nugget has done it. He's texted, morning DME, that's darling Miss Emily.
Yeah.
I just tried what you suggested to see if it works and called the Ivy. Please tell Gareth I managed to get him and Laura a table 4-3 for 8 p.m. this evening. Bon appetit. I'm not certain that's true,
I
but
don't
I
believe
hope it
that.
is.
I
We've
don't
also had
believe
an
it.
excellent tip from
Good effort, though,
Katie,
Nugget. Yeah.
who says, I call posh restaurants and when they answer I say, oh, hi, it's Katie, and she's put brackets surname. How are you? Great. I'm so sorry about the short notice, but can you squeeze me in at 8 p.m? I bet you're sick of me pushing in the queue. Ha ha. And she says they're too embarrassed to admit that
yeah.
they don't know me.
Well, this is what I think
That's
is
a
a good...
great
Yes. I think if you were to say... If Nugget was to say, oh, yeah, a table for Gareth Richards, his usual, and then just went, thank you, goodbye.
Oh, McDonald's.
Yeah.
You mean in a different
It's
restaurant,
express.
his usual
They'd have
table,
to do
somewhere
that.
else?
Can I say, I've got just a quick break in proceedings. I've just been made a cup of tea in a Magic mug,
Oh, yeah.
which is a branding disaster. I mean, I love Magic, and obviously they're sort of a sister or brother station to us.
Part of the same family.
Yeah, but it has reminded me of a mug incident I had this week
Oh, yeah.
with my builder, Marek.
Oh, yeah,
Who's
Marek.
a lovely chap. I like the way you say, oh, yeah, Marek, like he's
I
your
know
good
them all.
mate.
I'm the foreman of the works.
Well, I told you I was learning things from my driver recently. I say my driver. It was a driver I had. But I learnt things from Marek as well. Mm-hmm. I just think we're getting there. There are some issues still with our relationship. He said to me the other day, I get offended, and then I realise it's just Marek's way.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a section in the show I'm calling Marek's Way.
Mm-hmm.
So we should have a jingle for it, but I don't really have a Polish theme tune, so maybe we'll just go for this.
Yeah, hear you.
Okay, this is this is Marek's Way.
On My Way, you could play
My Way would have been
That'd be
great.
good.
So he said to me, I was telling him something, my niece had come round, Bertie, Alberta, and I said, she's so cute. You met my niece, Alberta. He said, yes, I did meet her. I said, she's so cute, isn't she, Marek? He said, all children are cute. Where do you want this light in toilet?
Brilliant.
So he's got a point. All children are cute. And what he was sort of saying was, stop going on about your niece. No one wants to know. We've all
Put
got
a light
cute
in the
niece.
toilet.
I've got
Also,
work to be
I
done.
like the question, where do you want this light in the toilet? Probably the ceiling, Marek. It's not...
I want it coming from
Toilet's
the bowl.
Yeah, it's not a room for uplighting, is it?
Yeah, Marek.
Stick it in the ceiling and get on with it.
And then we had an incident related to a mug where things got altogether nastier.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Well, we've had a text from 245. Says,
We had a text.
Hashtag cliffhanger. Miss M, I was about to go and deliver some leaflets, but I'm not going anywhere until I hear how Muggate pans out.
Oh, yes, Mudgate. So I was talking about Marek's Way. Marek, my builder, who dispenses, words of wisdom to me on a regular basis. So we'd had the incident where he'd informed me that all children are cute. I'm making him sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but,
It's fine.
forgive my accent. He said we were in the kitchen area and he was eating something. He likes onions.
He was eating an onion like an apple.
I sometimes see discarded onions in the cement bags. So
He eats onions.
yes. Well, like, some people like apples, some people like onions. Let's call the whole thing covfefe.
You sure he's not been hypnotised?
He said...
Does he also dance with a broom thinking it's a person?
He said to me, I said, oh, Marek, can you pass me that cup? And he said, what is this? I said, can you pass me that cup over there? He said, what is cup? I said, that's a cup. He said, no, this is mug.
Pedantic.
I said, no, that's a cup over there. That's a mug. That's a cup. He said, we'll see.
Have you got a picture of this cup mug?
I mean, I should take a picture of it, but it was the we'll see. I didn't know where to take that after that. Because we won't see.
Yeah, he thinks that there's some court of arbitration to find out.
He knows more about building, but I know more about the difference between a cup and a mug.
You'll be at the pearly gates, and they say, before you come in, there's just one thing we have to clarify.
Yeah, bit of unfinished business from your time on Earth.
Marek is here. Or maybe you'll have to wait for Marek. I don't know, it depends who goes first. But
anyway, he's a wonderful man, and I really recommend him if anyone's interested in getting a build. So anyway, back to Gordana.
Yes, and he does say one thing in this that I really heartily agree with.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. He says... When they say that an item on the menu is famous red lasagna, he says you shouldn't have that because he thinks who made it famous. And I feel very similar about that. I find a thing that...
I also think, why is it red?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is it? Exactly.
But when they make bursts that are unspecified, like I find it really irritating. And I hate jokes on A-frames, blackboards outside coffee houses.
I hate jokes.
Some
people are texting in, we can see.
I hate jokes, but I walked past the coffee shop yesterday.
Hate jokes. I like jokes.
And
I don't really hate them, but I'm being a bit silly, Billy.
Some member of staff had gone outside of this coffee shop and written on the blackboard, best iced coffee in town. And I thought, well, according to who? Who's checked?
Yeah.
I mean, who's drank an iced coffee from everywhere in town that sells them? Some really shivering, jittery guy that's drank an iced coffee and everywhere in London that does them. And also, who even likes iced coffee? It's disgusting. Why are you boasting about it?
I totally agree with you. And I like my emphasis when I was talking about the iced coffee there.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I saw another coffee shop that had a blackboard outside as I walked past it, and it said, "What did one cup of coffee say to the other?" And then it said, "Where have you been?"
Yes, I do understand. I just feel sick.
And I thought, what are we trying to achieve
coffee's
here?
made from beans.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, no, I got that as well, but I just didn't like it.
I mean, it's a joke that barely works, but when it does work, it only works in written form.
I like Gareth saying, I just thought I'd explain it.
Yeah. Like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to say, oh, this is the level of humour you can enjoy alongside your coffee if you come and speak to the members of staff here?
Well, I'm afraid that's become the new thing, hasn't it? This is where it's that, and I'm afraid it is on the tube boards as well.
Oh,
the daily witticisms.
And as comedians, we don't give people coffee from the stage, do we? Just stay in your own area.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, are you saying?
I also have a problem with the phrase fine dining. When people say it's fine dining, I just think, aim higher. Like, if you go out for a meal and someone says, how was your meal? And you go, fine. I'm sorry. Like, I want to go to excellent dining.
I don't like it because it sounds a bit Basil Fawlty as well. Fine dining. Fine dining in Torquay. I don't like that. Any man that took me out to a fine dining date with a table for 3 people and ordered the cheapest wine on the menu, get out.
We've also had some news in from the outside world.
Lovely.
We asked, it seems like ages ago in the show, but it might not be.
6-7 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
It was the last time I tweeted covfefe, and it's all kicked off.
We asked if anybody had actually changed their name by deed poll, and 232 has changed their name.
Really?
It says, hey, Gareth, I changed my name by deed poll just last month. It doesn't say what from. I'm assuming it wasn't.
Is that from Frank
232.
Skinner?
I don't think their real name is 232. That's just the letters, the numbers at the end of their phone number.
Hey, that would be good, Al, if someone changed their name by deed poll to their number on this show, like 310 or something.
729, who's also called Ruth, has texted, "Hi, Emily. As I've now divorced my husband, I have to change my married name via deed poll back to my maiden name."
Oh, does she? Thank you
Never
for your
knew
honesty.
Thank you for your honesty,
Thank you.
caller.
That took open
We feel your
courage.
pain.
And congratulations.
And congratulations on your divorce.
Yeah, why not?
Second wedding soon. May I recommend white trouser suit?
So changing your name to a number, is that what Jean Valjean did? Is he a texter of the show?
Oh, Les Miserables.
32604.
He's one of our top
one of our
callers,
listeners,
Jean Valjean.
Valjean.
Les Miserables jokes for you this morning on Absolute Radio.
I am still on the run, loving the show.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Have we heard from the outside world at all?
We've had 194 text in saying there's a chalkboard outside a pub in Luton which was advertising sticky toffee pudding, large steak, and underneath it said, "Get it down, you. Remember, fat people are harder to kidnap."
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Interesting
I
worldview.
mean, there's pros and cons with all sorts of life choices.
And did someone not
I think it
understand the coffee bean joke as well?
I think it could be a typo.
Yes,
maybe
possibly.
fit people are harder to kidnap.
Well, to be
True,
honest,
they can run away.
If they do
it's been
high-intensity interval training, they'd be good at sprinting.
they're slippery little suckers, aren't they?
Who? Fit people?
Yes.
Are you thinking of Charles Bronson again?
Yeah,
Covered in
exactly.
grease and butter.
Someone didn't understand the coffee joke. You know, I was asking if anyone had not understood your coffee joke, and I think one of our...
Gareth said if you get the coffee joke or don't get it, let us know. And 753 has texted, "I don't get the coffee joke. Rob."
Okay, would you care to
There you go.
explain it?
Well, it was a play on the word bean, wasn't it? It was bean can mean something that I don't know how to explain the other. One's coffee bean, BEAN, and then the other one's BE.
Past tense. of
Yeah.
being.
It's kind of a pun, really.
Yeah, it's a pun. It's definitely a pun.
Yeah.
And given that Frank's not here, I think that we can very much say that's what he would have wanted, is a pun.
Sure.
To draw the show to a close with a pun is exactly what he would have wanted. So, yeah.
But yes, my tip for eating out is if you're somewhere with a sommelier, it's too expensive. Go somewhere cheaper.
Yeah.
And I nailed it with my mum because, you know, I have problems with my mum. She's always unhappy
sorry
with
to
what
hear
she
that.
orders.
I wish... Yes,
Yeah,
you and
I
your
have terrible
family...
anxiety, don't I, eating in a restaurant?
Why?
Well,
with your
his
mother?
family have
Yeah.
issues with restaurants,
They're never
don't
happy.
they?
Oh,
and,
okay.
And what I did, I absolutely nailed it recently.
They sound fun to eat out with. But
It's an absolute
No, Gareth
nightmare.
has
You
to
don't
actually
believe
leave
it.
restaurants. They go in, the whole family, and then they suddenly will decide we don't like it here, and then they'll all leave again. Is this right?
It's really very stressful.
I stand by my earlier point. They don't sound fun to eat out with, no.
So
But
what-
I nailed it recently. What I did is, because my mum's never happy with what she orders and has terrible regret.
Okay.
And then that makes me stressed because I just want everyone to be happy.
Of course.
So I ordered something brilliant and then I gave it to my mum. I swapped.
and what was it? What-
She ordered, says, "Oh, I'll get a steak," and I ordered like tandoori chicken with prawns on the side, and it had all
Did you
sorts
order
of
this
stuff
meal in
on.
1974? Steak, tandoori chicken and prawns. Who eats that these days? We're all on quinoa now, love, and avocado smash.
Emily, I live in Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What year is it there now?
We're not sure.
Okay. Apologies to all the Bournemouth listeners. It's a lovely place.
Yeah, it's lovely,
Yeah.
Sunny Beach. But so I ordered that, and then I just swapped with her, and
That's a
she
good
was
idea.
really happy, and I don't care.
That's good.
It was great. Absolutely nailed it.
Found some space around the problem. Love it.
I love it. What a happy note to end the show on. So, listen, it's been lovely having you this morning. Thank you,
Do you know
Gareth.
what, Emily? It's
Yeah.
been an absolute delight.
Don't make it sound like a Des O'Connor chat show. Thank
Thanks
you.
so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Gareth. Thanks so much, Cochrane. We'll be back next week, and more importantly, Big Daddy will be back next week. We'll be seeing you.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.